Hi guys, I'm Dr. Jenny White, a dentist in Sarasota, Florida, and her fearless patient Susan with our podcast, Open Wide, Unfiltered Opinions Between a Dentist and Her Patient. Over the past 25 years or so, I've been sitting in a little room talking to myself all day, and I've gained a lot of wisdom through that process, which I want to share with you. We hope our podcast casts optimism and fearlessness to you so you can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger than you've ever imagined. So on today's show, I am super excited to have dear friend / patient / West Virginian, Linda Daniel. Thank you for joining us, Linda.
Thank you.
Linda is the imaginative and delightful creator of L. Daniel Lampshades, turning bland rooms into vibrant, stylish statements full of personality. Her path has been anything but ordinary. She's taught on a Navajo Indian reservation, navigated the high-stakes, fast-paced world of political fundraising in Washington, D.C., and somehow found time to chase golf balls across unforgiving fairways. Bold, curious, and endlessly creative, and armed with a wicked sense of humor, Linda tackles life and design with flair, strategy, and just enough chaos to keep things interesting. At home, she's kept on her toes by Winston, her spirited and occasionally judgmental Havanese, who may secretly be the real CEO of L. Daniel Lampshades. Tune in as Linda shares stories, laughter, and behind-the-scenes secrets about turning simple lampshades and life into something unforgettable. Linda, again, thank you so much for being here. Cheers to cheers to being here.
Great to be with you all.
Yay.
Yes.
Okay, so far so good.
So far, A+. Anybody have a straw?
So let's start by how did this all come together? Because I know you, I didn't know Susan knew you, and now here we are.
Yes.
Yeah. So how did all this come together?
Susan and I have a mutual friend, a dear friend, Julie McMullen, who was my business coach for a year or so until she dropped me.
You weren't doing the homework.
I wasn't progressing the way she had hoped. She had great aspirations for me, but no. Plus, I wasn't paying her.
Well, and coming from one West Virginian
bounced.
to another, you can guide us, you can try to lead us, but we're blazing our own trail. It must be a thing.
We are a little irreverent.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tell me also, how did you get into being a lampshade designer?
Okay.
That is just the coolest thing I've ever heard of.
Well, I had my career in Washington. I burned out. I decided I wanted to use the right side of my brain. My dad was a radiologist turned winemaker. He started a vineyard in his 60s. My mom was an artist, a watercolorist. My sister was an interior designer. So I was ready to do phase 2. I wasn't sure what it was going to be, and I walked into anthropology, and I went straight to the lampshades. I had always had really cool lampshades, not white, just something with embellishment or something on it. Walked to the lampshades, and I'm like, that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And I found a gal in Vermont to teach me how to make them. So I went up there, and I spent about a day and a half with her, right by her side. She showed me how to make them, and I was hooked. And I just started selling them to designers in D.C. because that's where I was, still part-time, and then just word of mouth. So I've been doing it for 13 years now.
They're fabulous lampshades, by the way, too.
Oh, I don't doubt
my
it.
God.
I went on your website, and I can honestly say I think it was Instagram or your website. I'm not sure which because I'm technologically challenged. But I have to say it was a cross between Mackenzie Childs meets Dorothy Draper. You're from the southern part of West Virginia, right? Where we have the Greenbrier, which was decorated by the one and only Dorothy Draper. Bold, imaginative, amazing. Your work is really off the charts.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really.
Thank you.
And all your lampshades are custom, right? You don't mass produce for like
No.
Wayfair or any
No.
of those.
I do not mass produce. Everything is custom. I have an Etsy shop, so I've got things on Etsy.
Okay.
I do, little hostess gifts, little night lights and those kinds of things, but everything is custom.
Okay, yeah. And if somebody wanted a lampshade, and I need a lampshade. So if I want a lampshade, walk me through the process.
Well, It varies based on where you are.
Okay.
You're local, so I could come to your house,
Okay.
or you could send me pictures of your decor, the color on your walls, your couch, your pillows, how you're inspired, what you like. Do you want a pattern? Do you want stripes? Do you want solid?
Tassels.
You want
Yeah.
embellishments, that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
So I try to get a sense of your style and what you like.
Okay.
And you may come to my studio and look at all my different fabrics and my trims. If you've got a shade that you want remade, I can remake an existing shade. I do a lot of that down here because you've got some retirees who have, old lamps and shades that have been around for a long time.
Yeah.
And they're disintegrating
Yeah.
and what have you. So I get a lot of that. So I do a lot of remakes down here.
Okay.
But I do a lot of designers all across the country. So with them, they'll send me a fabric, they'll send me existing shades, and I'll just remake the shade in the fabric that they want.
Okay. And then do you also extend it, like if I wanted pillows in the same fabric, are you just shades or can you do other?
I'm just shades, but I can refer you to people who do pillows.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, fantastic. Well, I'm having you come over because I need 2 shades.
I need every lampshade in my place done. Like, I don't know how many lamps I have, but
It's
whatever
cool.
I've got, I want to get it done.
It'll transform the whole room.
I know it
And
will.
it's inexpensive. It's an inexpensive way to transform the whole room. It's a personality. It's an entity of its own.
Now, I'm not a good selector of the fabric and do you help with that?
Oh, yes.
Can you do that?
Yes,
Because
yes.
I'm out to lunch.
I would come and look at your house. We'd get a feel for what you like. I mean, there's some people who just want like trim on a shade. They're like, just give me some trim. And they want, this shade was white. I want to do it white again. I'm like, oh, God,
Yeah.
please. But, I'll do whatever they want to do. But I like to help people get outside their comfort zone if they will. And 9 times out of 10, they're really glad they did.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to get as crazy as I am, but just a little bit of something that's got a nice little wink and a nod, it really makes a difference and stands out.
I think if you've watched any of the Open Wide podcast shows on YouTube or wherever, you'll see that Susan and I are already out of our box. And we are.
No.
So we need guidance more than we.
Yeah.
You don't have to open that box.
I think
You
I
just
know
have to
your
guide the
personalities.
box.
I think we can go there.
So I
Yep.
need to know, how did you go from West Virginia to a Navajo reservation?
I did. I taught on the Navajo reservation when I was in college. I did my student teaching out there for 4 months, and you sort of go out there thinking, "Oh, well, I'm going to change the world," all that. And you go out there thinking you're going to change the world, and they change you. I mean,
Yeah.
they really. It was the most humbling experience, and I'm really glad that I got it as a young person early on, so that you realize you're not that big of a deal at all.
Yeah.
And I remember, going back to West Virginia in my car, and the kids put, a string and cans on it, and I was sobbing when I left. I mean, I lived in the dorm with the children.
They loved you.
And I love them.
Yeah.
I love them. I would braid their hair. They had this beautiful Navajo silky hair.
Yeah.
I would braid their hair and, lived in the dorm with the girls, and the boys were on the other side. And then I became very close to the Navajo women who were the dorm aides, and they were there, and we'd stay up at night and talk and, have cookies and coffee and whatever. And the funny thing about the Navajo, they thought because I was white, I knew Carol Burnett. They were like, "Do you know Carol
interesting.
Burnett?" And it was just, they see you.
Yeah.
And what was interesting is because, you're on the reservation, you see these beautiful, dark-skinned, dark-haired people. I went back to West Virginia because I graduated early. I graduated in December, and then I went back to take some graduate courses. And when I got back, I think West Virginia was in the Peach Bowl or something like that. I had culture shock.
Yeah, I bet.
It was so loud, and there were all these white people.
Yeah.
All these white people with blonde hair, red hair, and it was like a culture shock.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just going back to that because I was so used to this quiet, wonderful existence.
Yeah.
And I became very close to them, and I would go back and see them year after year.
I was going to say, have you stayed in touch with the Navajo Nation in any way in the years
in a lot
since?
of ways.
Yeah.
And I did several years. Let's see, that was 1981, I think, the December of 81 when I finished. And several years after that, I would go. And then my boyfriend and I went out one year, and he was retired Air Force. And Mrs. Mike was a woman with whom I was very close. She was, a lot older and everything like that, just a wonderful person. Her husband was in the Navajo band, and he played. I can't remember what instrument it was, but he played for RFK's inauguration and someone else.
Wow.
And my boyfriend was like, and he was a Navajo code talker.
Oh,
And
wow.
my boyfriend was so mesmerized with him. It was like,
Yeah.
he's like, this is a moment I will never forget.
Yeah.
And he still talks about that to this day.
I
It was
bet,
so many, we spent the whole day with them.
Right.
And my boyfriend was just like, you
What
know,
a beautiful
in
part
awe.
of your life that
Oh,
was.
it was wonderful.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a good little
experience for you.
Yeah, great experience.
Yeah. And then you went into politics in Washington, D.C. So what was your role there?
So-
Talk about yin and yang.
Yeah.
From a Navajo, now we're into politics in D.C.
Well, it wasn't that abrupt. I went, when I got out of college, I went to Durham, North Carolina, which was the lowest unemployment rate in the country at the time. That was 1982. And I worked for a Canadian headhunter.
Okay.
So I placed people in jobs. Actually, I worked for her as a temp for a while because I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had an education degree, but I didn't really want to teach. So I substitute taught. And then I was a temp with her, and then she hired me to work for her. So I worked with her for a while. And then I worked on a campaign. The guy with the Young Republicans would ask me to come to the Young Republican stuff, and I was just busy, and I didn't go. And then I read in the paper one Sunday that he was running for Congress. So I thought, he's been so kind, he's been so patient with me, I'm going to work on his campaign. So I
Cool.
volunteered on his campaign.
Super cool.
He was a great guy, still is. And he
Can you say his name?
Frank Hill.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't win. He ran against a conservative Democrat who, Tim Valentine, just came up with that, who was a wonderful guy too, conservative Democrat. And
Okay.
Frank was young. He was only like 28 years old.
Yeah.
And he didn't win, but he became the chief of staff to another congressman.
Okay. Yeah.
Anyway, long story short, I said, Frank, I was in Durham, at the time, Durham, North Carolina. And, if you didn't go to Duke, I was 23, I don't know how old I was, but if you didn't go to Duke, you weren't in graduate school, you weren't Southern, it was sort of hard to fit in. You know what I mean? And I was like,
okay.
I'm ready to shake it up.
Okay.
So Frank got me an interview with a senator from North Carolina, and I interviewed and got the job. So I started working on Capitol Hill. I worked for 2 different senators, and then I started raising money for senators. So
How
I started raising-
exciting!
That was really
So it was really
exciting.
fun. Great
Yeah.
people.
So how long were you doing that for?
I started raising money for people for Senator Nichols in 1990, and I raised money until 2011.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
For quite some time.
What's
yeah.
something that's no one would guess about raising money in D.C.? No, like what goes on, or like,
I tell you what,
what's-
the interesting perception that people have is that people give you money because you vote the way they want you to. Whereas it's not that way. It's not a quid pro quo. You're all on the same page, and the money just comes because you agree on the same topic. It's not like I'm giving you money, therefore you're going to vote on that. Philosophically, you're aligned anyway.
I see.
So they just want to see that you're reelected, because if they get someone in there who doesn't agree with their policies, it could be difficult.
It could be hard for them.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
That's
not it's not as
refreshing.
cut
That's
and
refreshing
yeah.
to know.
And I raised money for some really good people. It's just people want to say all politicians are awful, and they're not. There was a guy that I worked for who, and he was a senator from Pennsylvania, and he would do the weekend things, the parades, the meetings, the town halls, and everything. He made sure that he was home every night to tuck his kids into bed.
Oh, sweet.
Or be there when they were up in the morning, even if he got in late. But he never stayed in a hotel. He wasn't trying to, he just was a good
He was a
family
straight
man.
shooter,
Yeah,
right,
really
Good
good,
man.
good family man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I had some good ones.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So then what brought you to Sarasota? Why Sarasota of all the places you could have relocated to from Washington, D.C.?
Well, after a few icy, snowy DC winters, I decided I wanted to have a place of refuge. And the Senate was in session 3 weeks on, 1 week off, 3 weeks on, 1 week off. So all my candidates, all my clients were senators. So I'd have a week off. So I thought, well, I'm just gonna find something in Florida somewhere to go for that 4th week. But I'll just do a 3-month period, and I'll rent something, and just do whatever. We looked on the East Coast. I looked in Miami. I liked it, Coconut Grove. I look at this place, and They have a bar downstairs. It's one of those things where they had hotels that they would convert some of the rooms into condos.
Yes.
So they had a bar downstairs and a pool and everything. Like, we went down there, and the woman at the bar, I said, what's the vibe here? What's going on? And she goes, well, it's great. She goes, O.J. Simpson's girlfriend lives here. And I'm like, check.
See you later.
Check.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And then my boyfriend had been stationed at CENTCOM in Tampa years ago in the Air
Okay.
Force. We liked Tampa, but it was too much of a city.
Okay.
And Sarasota was just
Just
charming.
perfect,
And so
Yeah.
I ended up buying instead of renting, and I just fell in love with it. So here I am.
Linda has a
full-time.
love of old cottages the way I do too, and I've known 2 of the ones that you've lived in. They're just darling.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. It's just a wonderful town.
Yeah.
I'm in a great neighborhood.
Yeah.
It's all terrific.
Good. Fantastic. So then you like to golf, it sounds like, in your spare time.
Yes.
I
have good outfits.
okay, yeah. So that's the way I golf too. I'm all
Yeah.
about the outfits.
Yeah.
That's the way I
It's
do any
not about
sports.
how you play. It's
No.
about how you
No, you
You
look.
have
look.
good outfits,
How
and,
you
and we
look.
go to the Parrot afterwards and have
Yeah,
wine.
there you go. That's the way to do it.
Next
yeah.
question.
So we're done with
I'm not
golf.
gonna there you go. I've got a nice set of clubs and a good outfit and fun people. We don't even keep score, but I used to be fairly good when I was in DC, and then I quit for like 7 or 8 years,
Yeah.
and then got back into it. So I need to take more lessons, but I really enjoy it. We play once a week, 9 holes, lots of fun.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
And what are some of the other things you like to do recreationally or in your spare time, I should say?
Drink wine,
Yeah.
walk my dog, travel,
Yeah.
love to travel overseas, domestically. I just got back from a beautiful trip in Charleston, South Carolina.
I love Charleston.
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I mean, not about it, but that's.
So I want to get back to lampshades for a second then. So you reach out to designers like all over the United States, it sounds like, to let them know that you do these custom lampshades. What does that process look like? Do you go to conventions? Do you, meet up on Zoom calls? Do you,
I will tell you, and I'll be honest.
Yeah.
My first career, I hit it really, really hard.
Yeah.
I don't hit it that hard now.
Okay, fair
I've
enough.
got, I've got website, I've got Instagram, I've got Facebook. I post twice a week on both of those.
Okay.
And then I've got, little cards that I send out to designers and people I follow up with. I met some people in Charleston, some designers in Charleston. I'll follow up with them. But it's really been word of mouth, and I'm staying really busy.
Yeah.
I don't want to get to the point that I don't have balance.
Yeah.
That's more important to me now than it
Right.
was when I was
Yep,
younger.
fair enough, yep.
And, that's one of the things when I was younger. It's like, I've got to make money because I really like a good lifestyle.
Yeah.
Now I've got that lifestyle, and I want balance. I want to be able to go see my mom, who's 95 years old in West Virginia. I want my boyfriend, my sisters and nieces and nephews, and I just want quality time, and I want balance.
Yeah.
So I'm not trying to set the world on fire. I just
Yeah.
enjoy what I do. I
Good
love
for
it.
you.
Yeah.
What's the most unusual request you've had for a lampshade? Is there something that comes to mind like, oh my God, you can't believe they wanted
There've been a lot of them.
tigers all over
Really?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what the craziest one is.
Okay.
They're all pretty. They've all been pretty standard.
the... Okay.
They've all been pretty standard. I can't think of anything that's hair-lipped me.
Okay.
No low hanging fruit off the ends. Like we're not.
Well,
hanging,
I've seen some glittery stuff that I probably
Hang-
wouldn't have done.
Okay.
some
Yeah.
silver
Reel
tassel.
that in.
So you had a
Reel
little
that in.
Glitter Vegas stuff. But one of I would say that if the most famous person I've done lampshades for is, and neither of you probably ever watched it, but if you ever watched Say Yes to the Dress,
I love Say Yes to the
did you
Dress.
do the one
Randy.
in Atlanta?
I
Did you ever
love
do the one in
Randy.
Atlanta, Monty? Okay, so you did the
that's
New
not
Jersey one.
Yeah.
Okay, the one in Atlanta was Monty Durham, and
Okay.
he's a friend of mine, and he used to cut my hair when I lived in Washington.
Okay.
So he's got he was real famous. I mean, you'd go anywhere with him, and people are just like, Monty.
Yeah.
But I did his salon. He opened up a salon in Old Town Alexandria.
Okay.
So I did some really cool with his logo on him. I'll have to show them to you, but with his logo on him and some really cool animal print shades, at the top and everything like that. And I went to his grand opening. That was during COVID, but he's a great guy. And that
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
was
fun.
going to ask you how much of your business is residential versus commercial, because I could see you in like big hotels, like the St. Regis,
Yes.
Right.
with some of your
Right.
cool fabrics and
I've
your
done
cool
some
shades.
major. I've done a major restaurant, big shades, on the ceiling and everything like that. I would say mostly residential, through, local and through designers.
Yeah.
A little bit of commercial,
Okay.
not, I'd say like 20%.
Yeah.
And then,
Yeah.
Linda, how did you train for this? Like, there's not a lampshade school.
Well, the gal in Vermont was very helpful. It's funny because you go up there and you think, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. This is easy. Okay, now next, go home and do it. It's really hard. It's really hard. And I remember my hands would get so sore because the fine motor skills that it requires,
Oh,
you're
right.
not used to. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm used to spreadsheets and,
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And it was like, you are pressing things and straightening them. And then you think, I'm just going to learn how to do it. But it takes a while to really perfect it and see where you're making your mistakes and figuring out how to correct them. It takes a long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I would say I was a year and a half into it before and then, in fact, this gal just came in the other day. She brought back a shade that I had done for her that had gotten burn marks on it. She had used too high of a wattage bulb. And so I'm remaking it, and I'm looking at it going, oh, God. I mean, I thought I was doing great work,
but
10 years ago, and it was
uneven
good,
lines
but I'm
and
like,
stuff, yeah.
and I'm remaking it, and I'm like, girl, you're so much better. You're so much better. You just don't realize it's a constant learning curve. Now I'm
Yeah.
good now, so don't worry.
Yeah, okay,
But it does take time.
Yeah. Now, are you teaching others how to do this? Because what is your exit strategy? Because it's such a cool niche
It's
market.
so
that you
much
have,
fun.
And it could be expanded for a younger person who's more interested in
Absolutely.
Exactly
expanding
right.
in a lot
And
of
I've
home
thought
goods.
about mentoring younger women or men who want
Right,
to do it.
yeah.
And that's my next thing is teaching. I've got, my home is conducive to,
Yeah.
teaching people how to make it. I did teach a few people just as a, project to see how that would go. And they were like, this is hard.
Yeah.
This is hard. I mean, it sounds stupid, like glue application. I mean, you can't apply too much glue.
Yeah,
You can't
no,
apply
it's
too
true.
little.
Yeah.
It's got to be straight. You got to fold it. It's got to go perfectly on. I mean, it's amazing.
Right.
I mean, when I talk glue application, people's eyes glaze over, but it's a big deal.
No, I'm sure it is.
Yeah.
It makes sense to me.
Among
actually,
other
yeah.
things.
Yeah.
It's like I call it the 12-step program. I mean, among other things. But it's a complex process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good for you for teaching others, though, because I think it could be a lost art if you don't do it. Yeah.
It is. And not a whole lot of people are doing it.
Yeah.
But it's just so much fun. And you're looking, I remember going into my mom's studio and, she was a watercolorist and these beautiful paintings on the wall. And you love going into a place where there's color and there's
Yeah,
texture and there's
happiness.
pattern and everything. And that's the way I feel every day when I'm
Yeah.
doing it. And I'm looking at the shades that I've got in my Etsy shop, and my trusty assistant Winston is right there helping me. He's
Yeah.
really good with color.
Does he bring the ribbon to you?
Oh, he brings the ribbon in his teeth. Yeah, he's amazing. He sits right by me on the chair. My boyfriend cracks up, but he's right beside me on the chair, and he
Yeah.
loves it.
He's adorable, that
He's
dog.
adorable.
Yeah, adorable.
I geeked out a little bit and did a little lampshade research, and there is actually a lampshade museum. Did you know this in
What?
France? Yes.
What?
And
Right
I know,
off,
I know.
right off.
And
Yeah, let's go. She
Yes.
needs assistance.
cases
Help
of
her.
French
Right.
wine, right
Yeah.
off.
L. Daniels paying.
Yeah, here we go. And her team.
And also, back in the 1800s, lampshades, first of all, they were pretty much for nobility. Secondly, from all the soot that was generated in the air, they were pretty much dark. You didn't have a light colored lampshade from all the soot. I didn't know this, but I just thought those were two interesting things
Very
I'd bring, to,
interesting.
the,
good.
bring to
Yeah.
the table. so to
Very
speak.
good. And the European technique is very different than what I do. I do the hardback. So it looks like plastic. Like you look at a drum shade, it looks like plastic around the edge. But in Europe, they sewed it. So you'll see a seam at the bottom and you'll see a seam at the top, and you'll see fabric, usually silk, on both sides.
Oh, okay.
So people bring things into me. They'll bring in shades to me and they'll be like, I want it done just like this. I'm like, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you what I do. It's going to look a little bit different because it's going to be a hard surface. It's not going to be soft.
Okay.
So it's, you're remaking things that started a different way.
Right, that's fascinating, actually. Yeah.
And the terminology in your world is very interesting. It's
Yeah.
different.
Yes.
Like we don't call it length, width, and height.
Right.
There are all these different words
Yeah.
for lampshade.
Yeah.
Is that what it's called? Lampshading?
Lampshade making.
Lampshade making?
Okay.
Lampshading can work for me too. Either one.
Yeah.
Well, we are from West Virginia after
Yeah, there
all,
you
so
go.
it all,
Girl, we'll
it
come
all
up with
goes.
some. Have another swig. We'll
Before
come
we
up with
close,
something.
do you guys have like a West Virginia song or something you want to sing to each other, or some sort of a
Country
a hand-
roads, take me home.
Who has a lighter? To
I'm
the
gonna drink.
place
You sing, I drink.
I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country roads.
All right, we need to drink to this. Cheers.
That's awesome.
Linda,
Thank you,
thank you
Linda.
for coming on the
Thank
show
you.
today.
Enjoyed it.
And as I always say, together we can rise to the top, stay at the top, and dream bigger with beautiful lampshades than we ever imagined. We thank you for listening and hope you enjoyed this podcast. If you did, please share this show with friends and family and subscribe to our YouTube channel. This way, you'll never miss weekly drops. Stay strong, dream big, and floss your teeth.